Welcome back to the Modeling and Wellbeing podcast, where you can learn the ins and outs of modeling and also gain tips to better care for your holistic well-being. This is your girl, Larissa, and this space is designed for us to learn, grow, and empower one another. So, Lego. We are back today with the final episode of our first season. OMG, insert crying and heart emojis times 10,000. Welcome to 2023, friends. We made it and we are blessed. How was the turn up for you? What did you do to bring in the new year? Well, I spent my new year with two of my beautiful friends and my beautiful sister, and we just kicked it, listened to music, and made some homemade mango margaritas. Okay, I was responsible for the mango margaritas. I made the batch way, way too strong, and we had to dilute it with lemonade. In the light of the new year, though, I wanted to just kick off the new year with all of you through a very short journaling exercise that will help you become either reminded or aligned with your desires, goals, and dreams. Okay, we all know that around this time, especially if you come back from break, tons of people on social media, our coworkers, school friends, family, etc., asks us a very common question around this time. What are your New Year's goals, sis? What's your New Year's resolutions? Yada, yada, yada. I used to get so annoyed at that question back in the day, but I think myself today, I actually love it because if you haven't truly sat back and reflected on your new or old goals, what you did or did not accomplish in a given previous year, that question just forces you to reflect on exciting things that you may want to do in the new year. The last thing that we want is to live in autopilot and not create an enjoyable life or experience for ourselves. Plus, life can just be so busy, moving so fast with work and responsibilities and family that we do forget to engage in things outside of those important things in life as well. These are just going to be three self-reflective questions that I'm going to highlight that will gear you towards establishing meaningful and intentional goals in 2023. As I talk through this, I really want you to follow along. Please go grab your journal, go grab your phone. If you're driving, mentally reflect and then write that down later. Let me remind you that when things are out of our sight, they tend to be out of our mind. Written items are like a moral compass that keeps us on track, reminded, and continue just to drive forward and drive through, drive around, progress towards our goals. And like I've always said in my job, let this reflection, let these writings be a living and breathing thing or document. As you mature and you grow, your mindset will too. So, what you write today may not resonate with you like a month, 2, 3, 6 months from now in this year. So, know that you can always go back and cross things off your list. Come back to this reflection exercise with me to alter or update any specific goals too. It's a living and breathing thing. Like, we don't just have like one thing that we have all the time that we're striving for, which sometimes we do, but sometimes those things get accomplished much faster than we thought. Or like, we're like, oh man, this is actually bigger than I thought. And let me just continue to focus on this, but let me not lose sight of the other small things that I want to accomplish too. My first reflection question for you is, who do I want to be this year? Who do I want to be this year? As you're reflecting, think about your values, morals, or a theme or word of the year. I actually just saw a post from a model on social media. She recapped her 2022 and stuck with the word for her year, which was discipline, because she just had like a lot of challenging and great life shifts and just really needed to stay focused, including fun personal trips as well. She even made a bracelet to keep the word in her sight every day and not forget her goals of that year, which I thought was really creative and cool, and brings up a great point that your theme or word can definitely be demonstrated through art or a token that will keep you motivated and reminded in a creative way throughout the year of your goals? Sometimes this question can also be really overwhelming or confusing or maybe too complex for people to wrap their head around. Who do I want to be this year? It's similar to asking, like, what meal do you want this year? Well, I'm sure there's more than one meal you probably want to enjoy rather than one, just having that variety throughout the year. Plus, a side note, having a balanced meal is probably better for your health rather than eating one type of meal. It's okay if this question is overwhelming for you. And if you are unsure about what personal things you want to embody, especially if you're struggling with life changes that have challenged your identity, or maybe it's forcing you to refine or recreate who you are. I've literally been there before. If it helps, though, try to think about how you want to feel and start there. When I went through my identity crisis a couple years ago from a life change, I knew that I wanted to feel self love and spark my artsy, creative self deeper. So I started to just change my environment and self care practices to embody that parts of myself, like getting new furniture that had colors of oranges and blues and some creative art on my walls. Then for self love, I just began to care for my body better through movement and also made myself go on a solo trip to learn how to enjoy my own company. Lastly, it can also help to reflect on some old photos of yourself in the last year just to get a sense of where you were or how you felt in that time and what feelings you do or do not want to carry forward into 2023. The second question is, what do I want to explore this year? What do I want to explore this year? I'd encourage you to think of both personal and professional experiences that will help you have intentional and meaningful opportunities. I mean, trust me, these can be anywhere between super small opportunities requiring literally little to no budget, or you can go all out, aim big, that will push you to save or maybe have a high budget if that experience will make you happy. Keyword, if it will make you happy, do it. And maybe it's also regarding things around parenting, property investment, or educational opportunities. For example, personally in 2023, I really want to go back to engaging in fun activities that I enjoy, that I haven't done in a really long time, like going rock climbing or going bike riding for fun. And professionally, I really want to continue deepening my model and wellness coaching avenues to keep growing in that way. The last question I want you to reflect on for 2023 is, what do I want to learn this year? What do I want to learn this year? I believe that power is knowledge, and knowledge is the key to growth and success that we want to have and that we will have in our futures. With knowledge, you can change your perspective, improve relationships, and also challenge any of your own thoughts that might be bringing you down. Like, if I were to say, like, Larissa, you can't do this. Like, seriously, if you're saying that you can't do something, is that really true? No, like, is it actually true if you've literally been applying yourself? You really believe that? Scientifically, like all these success stories. If we go back, that's not true. You see, I feel like knowledge it's tied to our self-belief and love. And it of course keeps our mind sharp and helps us stay present with our personal lives and the lives of others. I was actually reading an article that I dropped in the bio to, if you want to check it out within this episode, that talked about knowledge, how knowledge can be beneficial in three different ways. The first is knowledge helps you take in new information, or in other words, comprehension. The second is knowledge helps you think about new information, working memory. Or thirdly, knowledge helps you remember new information. So that's stored in your short or long term memory. Okay, this definitely feels self explanatory, but like think about it. Remember a time, just Think of a time when you thought about how something works and you're really curious about it. And then after doing some research or maybe reading a book or an article, you actually start to form more questions in your brain that forces you to research maybe a little bit more or reflect on how the learnings in that article actually applies to some of your personal situations in your life. Then down the road, that learning might actually be triggered through a new personal situation where you have that cognitive choice to behave or act differently or not. Maybe you're like, I ain't trying to do all that. But you get what I mean? It's all tied to how we do show up in the future where we're starting to gain some of that knowledge that we're applying and reflecting on within our lives. And if we don't have a lot of it, then sometimes we just can't expand our growth or expand our interactions or expand our self-belief and self-love. Okay, anyways, okay, getting back on track. I want you to just list out a few ways you want to learn this year. How can you expand on your business, or how can you learn something about yourself through perhaps a women's support group? How do you want to learn or grow this year? How does that connect to your goals, your morals, and your values? Now, know that through each question, it might be really helpful to reflect on the accomplishments and challenges you have encountered in 2022. In order to understand where you want to go, it is powerful to see where you've been. And let any of challenging experiences fuel your fire. Like, I'm going to be one of those people that says, don't let those things get you down or discourage you from pushing towards the person that you've always wanted to be or the person who you are today. And know that not a single experience determines who you are. I mean, that's not who you are. That's just an experience. It is just a feeling or situation that will pass over time. Of course, if you're intentional about that growth. So you got this. Okay, so I already knew that this one was going to be short and sweet. So that is all that I have for you. I'm going to wrap up the episode with our affirmation practice. So again, affirmations are designed to help you become aware of your personal strengths and values. When you are able to note your strengths, it can be a game changer for improving your self-awareness and building confidence. Repeat after me. I am right where I'm supposed to be. My future is bright. My life is and will continue to flourish. I am worthy. I belong. Yay! This has been an amazing season 1, you guys. Like, I can't believe I got through 10 episodes. This is a wonderful personal milestone that I'm sharing with all of you. Many learnings that I've gained and will apply in the next season. And so I thank you all again for your continuous support and love. I mean, you're probably tired of me hearing it or saying it every episode, but I do really appreciate you and thank you. I mean, if you know a friend or a family member that just needs to hear any of these episodes that you think will offer them a fresh perspective, please share it with them. Also, don't forget to follow the podcast just to be aware of those future new episodes. Season 2 will definitely be coming soon. In the meantime, I just love to stay connected with you all on social media. You can add me on Instagram as @RissaSnugs, RISASNUGGS. All right. Well, that wraps up season 1. Thank you. And I will see you all next season. Love you. XOXO and Happy New Year.